All right, it's recording. Hey everyone. I just accidentally fucking doxed myself, so I had to restart the recording. It's 2:48 a.m. I've been out the bed for a couple hours. Yeah, my sleep schedule's fucked, but we ball. Yeah, dude, I was bitching about my college's like money, and I I fucking I was like doing the thing where you type in Google and say what you're typing out loud, like big booty fat bitches, like just as a bit. But like I fucking said the name of my college out loud and fucking doxed myself. If absolute fucking idiot. And that was like an hour into the recording too. Fuck me. But god damn it. But this video is going to be a bit different. It's just going to be me complaining. Uh, so I have compiled today. I got curious. Today I was blocked from fucking everything on my university end. I get an email from the student account center, which is like the people who have your bill, and they're like, "Where's our fucking money?" And they turn into fucking crazy dickheads. It's a pain, but I get an email from them, and it's like, your account is on hold, and I'm like, uh, I know what it's about because I had a $15 bill. That's not a bit. $15. And I'm spending. I'm not gonna lie. I am taking 20 credit hours. And I've only got classes 4 days a week, but every day it's from 8 a.m. and usually between homework and shit, I'm not done until like 1 a.m. most nights. So I've been going fucking consistently 50 to 60 hours a week of pure schoolwork. So I haven't had fucking time to look into this and figure out where the $15 came from. And even if I did, I this is what pissed me off is I tallied it up, and my tuition over the last 3 years, I have paid $24,892 in tuition, which is less than the average, like the statewide, countrywide average, by a pretty fucking wide amount. But it's still like that's a very nice used sedan. And you're telling me I've put in I've put in tens of thousands of dollars. Not many tens, two tens and a half, but it's like you're telling me I've put in tens of thousands of dollars, and literally you threaten to ruin my entire degree for $15. It's fucking ridiculous. And I'm not gonna lie, college has been fucking getting to me. It has been kind of a hell on earth for the last couple years, and I kind of wanted to just take this video and talk about all the little ways that this place fucking scams you. Um, God. But tuition is the main one, which is like the obvious, no shit. But there's also a weird issue where, because this is a state school, this isn't like I'm a music major, this isn't like a fucking private conservatory where everything is focused on music. It's like, it's a state school, there's like well over 100 different majors offered here. There's all kinds of shit. It's a diverse state school, so like it's kind of a fucking crushing thing to realize that like you don't get to pick where your money goes. That 25 grand that I've put in, and also I get a bunch of federal aid, a bunch of like music scholarships and shit. So like if we were to take off the scholarships, we're talking about like about $80,000 that has been put in over the last 3 years. So that's a lot of fucking money, and not much of it has like come back to me. Because the whole point of the scholarships is that it's not just subsidizing you, but it's also subsidizing costs. Like, it's meant to be you get a scholarship for this much from this society, and they agree like, oh, we'll give you this money, and then that money goes towards insert this pays your tuition, which pays for your teacher's salary, which pays for your fucking music building upgrades, whatever you want to call it. It's like all this fucking money is getting put in, and I haven't personally seen much in the way of like that money hasn't come back to me, is what I'm trying to get at. You know, and to be fair, I've gotten off a lot lighter than a lot of other people. The 24 grand, also my grandmother, she covered 4 grand of that as like she covered my first semester's tuition as like a gift, and it was one of the most beautiful moments in my life. I fucking cried like a baby. But yeah, and that was on the higher end. So I've only put in like 20 grand of my own money. But 20 grand, that's still a fucking lot of money. 20 grand over the course of 3 years, or 5 semesters, 20 grand, 4 grand a semester. By the time I graduate, it will have been $28,000. If my tuition stays the same next year, which it probably will. $28,000 that I put in to get a sheet of paper with my name on it and a fucking bachelor's in music performance, minor in English. That's what that fucker will say. And it's cool, and I think I will, you could say like, oh, average person with a college degree makes this amount more than their peers. But it's like, I'm not going to be seeing, I mean, you can call it an investment or whatever, but it's like, I'm not seeing any immediate results money-wise. And it's like, why the fuck am I putting in this money, And I think it's very easy for me to get caught up in that fucking, I've put in a lot of money, and it just hasn't gone anywhere. I feel like I should clarify. I feel like my degree's been worth it, but like a lot of the shit in my degree has been shit that I could have just like done in a manner that would have saved me a lot of money if I'd gone about it differently. But you don't know what you don't know, so it's like I'm not trying to gun for the fucking high school dropout idiot who's like, you can learn all that from YouTube, man. I'm not going for that fucking shit, because anyone who tells you that is full of shit and also stupid. But it's weird because it's like all of these institutions, higher learning, colleges, conservatories, whatever the fuck, and it's not exclusive to music. It's practically every institution in like this. They don't actually provide a unique service. They just gatekeep it in a way where it's like, good fucking luck finding a degree online that has equivalent fucking like learning ability to an in-person degree. Like you're fucking not gonna find one. And it's weird because it's like you put in all this fucking money, you put in all this fucking work, time, effort, you get treated like shit, and you kind of just have to put up with it because these colleges, they aren't really providing anything unique to them. They aren't providing anything that somewhere else couldn't give you, but they've fucking gatekept it. You can't get the sheet of paper that lets you get a job in certain industries. You can't get the skills that you need for certain industries without fucking submitting to the fucking shakedown and giving up your fucking 20 grand. And it's ridiculous. It's like, but there's also like, there's not really a better option because it's like, what am I going to do? Pay for a fucking influencer course? What the fuck is that? It's like putting in a shitload of money into something that I don't know, man. It's fucking weird. It sucks because when I could give like a fucking bullshit like Marxist critique of it where it's like this is inherently a nature thing of capitalism where fucking social good, social equitable shit like this gets privatized. It gets turned into shit like this where even a public institution, I don't go to a private school, I go to a public state school that is about as much money as you can get from the federal government as physically fucking possible, and these people are still fucking charging me out the ass, and it's effectively a private institution. They get like damn near full independence. They're kind of just dicking around doing whatever with their fucking money, with our fucking money, and it's fucking ridiculous. It's like, this is what happened in America's, fucking peak capitalism. It's, This is about as privatized as a public school could be. But it's fucking ridiculous to have to live in this shit. And, I don't really have a choice in the matter because back when I was in high school, when I was first looking at like, oh, which college do I want to go to? I kind of had the rubric of I have to stick relatively close to home. If I want to get the degree I want and, get the job I want eventually and all that shit, I have to get a good school that is a 4-year college because to be a music major, community college, you can do it, but it's like you aren't going to get private lessons realistically unless you do like, trumpet or clarinet or one of the instruments that's like super common. Like, good fucking luck finding a community college tuba teacher. You probably could, but there's not any fucking nearby to me. Good luck. Have fun wandering around to fucking Western digging butt state. Like good fucking luck finding that. And it's just like in order to get the education that I need in the specific manner that I need it, where it's like, oh, I have to be within, a certain number of miles from my hometown to, because my family is full of dysfunctional people and I'm a functional fucking adult who can pay bills on time. So it's like I have to be around and fucking clean up other people's messes. So it's like, I have to be here to deal with this shit. So it's like I have to pick a school within, I think originally I said like an hour or two or something like that, a few hours of my hometown. And I got that. This school is like hour 15, hour 20 from my hometown, something like that. Something like that. And there were a few options. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say like I was fucking forced to go here. No one can make you do that shit. But it was like in order to keep my life functioning, to fill the family obligations, which are fucking impossible to get away from, all that shit. In order to keep everything going and to keep my life fucking functional, I effectively had to submit to the fucking getting fucked in the ass and having your money taken. I didn't have a choice. You can argue. I feel like there's always this dipshit argument of like, well, if you don't like it, why don't you just leave? And it's like, I have a fucking family. I have to deal with these people. I have to help these people. I have to be here. I don't get a fucking choice in any of this shit. So it's just been fucking bugging me that it's like this institution, while it has done a lot of good, it's given me an education that has made me a better person, has gotten me through a lot of shit that I wouldn't have if I was uneducated, like when I got out of high school. It's like, it's weird because they've done me a good, but it's like a backhanded compliment where you don't know how to feel. Like, yeah, you've given me a fucking, honestly, pretty great education. And it's like, it's like you get the good education, but it just comes off in such a backhanded way. And they kind of mistreat you in the process. So it's fucking strange. It's a weird feeling. It's a weird thing to go through. And it's a pain in the ass, but I'm not gonna lie. Getting that fucking bill, I can't remember if I've talked about it yet. I got like a $15 bill in my fucking student accounts. I check it and it's like, you owe $15. You're not allowed to register. You're not allowed to get graded. So it was like a very immediate, if I don't take care of this, I'm going to be like effectively fucking kicked off like a flea off a fucking dog. And it's a pain, but it's like I dealt with it, got it fucking lifted. And it just kind of had me fucking realize I've given these people $20,000. The federal government has given these people $40,000. Different scholarships have given them like 10 to 15, but also that money comes from them, so it's like I'm not going to really mention that. So like when you consider the federal aid and my own personal money that's went into this and my grandmother's money, because that was not something the college did. I mean, we're talking about like $70,000 that has been put in 3 years' time, and it's like you I've given you so much effort, so much money, so much time, so much everything. I have given up fucking everything for this, and they threatened me effectively because they say, like, they email and they're like, if you don't get this solved, you're gone. You know, that's a fucking threat in a country where uneducated people statistically die younger, die poorer. It is a threat. It is saying, you do what we ask, you do what we say, or you don't get to live the good life you want. It is a fucking threat. It is. And to realize that, like, there's no goodwill on their part. There is no goodwill on the college's part. It is purely a business. This is a public institution on paper, but this is private. This is privatization. This is peak corporatist capitalist bullshit. This is, if you give us your money, you feed us like a little fucking cash cow, and if you stop for even a second, they fucking throw you into the edge of the sun. They just looking at my state, I live in one of the worst educated states in the country. Fuck, you can tell I'm a product of that shit. I'm a fucking idiot, but I'm bidding. But like, legitimately, this is a state where, on average, people barely graduate high school. I think it's something like only. Hang on, let me Google this. There we go. Let's see. Here we go. Levels of education in my state, ages 25 to 64. Let's see. 30% of people have graduated high school. 10% have zero diploma. 15% have zero high school degree. 30% only have a high school degree. So we're talking like half have that. 25% have some college but no degree. So, 23% plus 31%, that's 44% have a high school degree and nothing else. Some college, no degree. It's fucking bullshit. You don't have anything from that. 54% of people fall into that, though, of just base high school level. Then 15% have like the nothing at all. 15% plus 54. 70% of the fucking state has literally the baseline education to be a fucking worker. Let's see. 8% have an associate's degree. 16% have a bachelor's degree. And 8% have any type of graduate degree. Okay, so 24% of the state has a degree that is like going to get you employed. And associates, it's cool. It's good for you. It's like that could probably help you start your own thing, but that's not gonna be the most helpful thing ever in the wild. But let's just count that. So 8 plus 8 plus 16. 32% of the state has a college degree of any kind. So 67% of the state has effectively fucking nothing. And it's like, this is a massive fucking chunk of the state is like that 70% that has no degree. It's like, they aren't making money on average. This is one of the poorest states in the country. And it's like, it's fucking clear. This is why. Because they don't have degrees. They don't have specialized shit that makes good GDP and whatever, And for the college to threaten to kick me out over $15 fucking dollars, it is actively saying, either you cough up your fucking money, you stupid cash cow, or we throw you back into the fucking mouth of poverty. That's what they're saying. And, when you consider, like, I'm lucky. I'm one of the ones who had the money, who immediately was able to pay the shit off, get wade through the administrative bureaucratic bullshit. I'm one of the ones that's been able to get through this fucking shit. How many? 70% of the state. Like, if we look at the 25% who have some college but no degree, that's 1 in 4 people in the state probably going through something similar to what I've just went through and not making it through it. And it is fucking ridiculous. Like I can't be the only one who sees this. It is fucking crazy. And I don't know what to make of it anymore, because it's such a callous thing for the administration to just like openly be like, think fuck you, and you can say like, oh, they need their money, and it's fair to an extent, but like, they're getting subsidized they got their fucking money. I could understand if it was, I didn't pay the fucking $5,000 tuition for this semester. I could understand that, That's enough money to where it's like, if everyone didn't pay that, it'd be like, okay, I understand that. You need your money. I get it. But $15 fucking dollars, and they threatened to kick me out. It is just fucking mind-boggling that they do this shit. And it's even more mind-boggling just the callousness of it, because like I'm kind of stuck in a mental loop. Like, I've kind of repeated myself a bit. I get it, but it's like, it's so much fucking money I've given them. It's the you will own nothing and be happy thing, where I have given them so much fucking money and they still want more. Like, these greedy little fucking hogs are just begging me for truffle. And it's like, just fuck you. Just go fuck yourself. I have given so much goddamn money. I've been putting in effort here. I have been busting my ass here at full-time student shit. I have 120 credits as a fucking junior. Like, and I've only taken I only took one high school AP class. So like, I've done a bunch of shit in the last 3 years. I have been busting my ass fucking nonstop for a goddamn, I've been busting my fucking ass. I've been putting in like 40 to 50 to 60 hour weeks, somewhere in that range, for consistently for 3 fucking years. I have been actively paying thousands of dollars to do it. The government has been giving them thousands and thousands of dollars for me to do it. And still, they're like greedy little fucking pigs that run this goddamn college. They are still saying it's not enough. We need more. It's fucking sickening, man. It is truly just fucking vile. And I keep going back. I haven't went back to this enough, honestly. I've fucking repeated myself a lot. But it's like the statistic map I pulled up, it's like 20% some college, no degree. That is a quarter of the people in this state who realistically have went through the same thing and just didn't make it through the bureaucratic hoop. It is fucking sickening to me that an institution created to be a public good, to be there as a like college, let's just be fucking honest. It's the only way you're going to get a job that pays shit, You can say like, oh, I'm going to drop out and work at the Kroger and make manager in a year. Good fucking luck with that, buddy. But it's like, this is one of the only consistent ways. Like, maybe you do make manager at the Kroger, good for you. But it's like, this college is one of the few consistently proven ways to, like, 9 times out of 10 make more money. It is one of the only ways that, like, the middle class has to make more money. Like, when you consider back in the day the whole idea of FDR's New Deal and all that shit, it's like, this is a massive part of it, of making the country wealthy, of getting out of the Depression, of getting this shit back together, was creating a strong, well-educated middle class that had extremely specialized degrees, because that's what pays the fucking bills. And it's goddamn ridiculous that we have all fucking, like, if you're watching this, I'm assuming you're American, because you're speaking English and you're watching a video bitching about the American college system. If you're not, I get it. But like all of us Americans, all 300 million of us fucking people have been busting our ass in this shit. And it's like, we're effectively at the whim of these fucking colleges, and it's just been such a like sickening fucking realization for me of, this is just one thing that's kind of affirmed it. But I just wanted to talk about how just fucked all of this shit is, and the financials of it, and like what I've been talking about for the last 30 minutes. Yeah, something like that. 25. Okay, like the shit I've been talking about and bitching about for the last 25 minutes. That's not even the only like example of it. These fucking colleges, they effectively they control whether you're able to pay your bills. They just do. If we look at the statistical average of like, oh, the average college grad with a bachelor's degree makes this amount of money, the average person with a graduate degree makes this amount of money, you know, it's a pretty fucking blatant thing of like, if you have a degree, get more money. A better degree, more money. It's fucking clear. These are the people who decide if you pay your fucking bills. And they are so just viciously fucking ruthless in administrative hell. And it's just fucking sickening. I don't have a moral to the story. I mean, this is a uniquely American problem just because of the pure cost. I mean, you can look at the EU and China specifically, those two, as like bright examples of like how fucking good, cheap, affordable state-ran college can be. Like how essential that shit can be to strengthening your country and whatnot. But it's just a little fucking ridiculous that like this is where we're at now, where America as a country has fucking collapsed, and now we've got to fucking tussle with our feudal overlords and hand over whatever cash we have from, I mean, let's be honest, most college students, 18-year-olds, you've got to fucking fork over whatever family money you got, and it's like, it's just such a fucking sickening goddamn Ouroboros bullshit where you're just feeding in this fucking money and it's just going nowhere and just getting shat back out, and it's an Ouroboros with a too big of a mouth for the rest of its body because it's eating away at our fucking society. The some college no degree thing that I keep going back to, they don't get their money back. They put in this fucking money. And not to mention with the bachelor's degree, we put in all this fucking money. And we might get it back, but, you're probably not even getting it back from the college through, like, employment there or that type of thing. But it's like, we're all putting in so much fucking money. We're feeding the bloat. We're feeding the fucking hive mind, And oh God, I shouldn't have said that because it's like, now there's some conservative dipshit who's like, oh, woke liberal mind hive, or hive mind hive, fucking idiot. There's some idiot who thinks that's what this is about, and it's not. It's just financially, like, I don't care if what degree or whatever. It's like, this is every college student is dealing with this. Everyone in this fucking country is suffering because of a fucking pure greed administrative bloat. And it's just fucking vile. And I don't know what to... I don't have any moral. I don't have anything to add. It's just, damn, that's pretty fucked up. Maybe we could not do that. I don't know. There you go. There's a fucking moral. If you're reading this video out to your little baby like a fucking bedtime story, you can look at them and like in Family Guy, and they're like, and that's why in Denmark we have very short tables. More wine, more women, more table. I'm having a heart attack. You know that clip from Family Guy? Like if you want to give them a fucking moral like that, here it is. Don't fucking do that. Don't build your college system to eat your fucking lower and middle classes. Don't do that. I mean, there you fucking go. But yeah, it's pretty fucked up, huh? Damn, I don't have anything more to add on that. It's just like, damn, that's fucking yucky. Ugh. But yeah. So that was big topic number 1 on the way that colleges fuck you, is just financially. And you can stop watching here because most of the next categories are going to be like not subcategories, but just like smaller ways in which that big aggression gets inflicted on you. Yeah, but before I get into the next big category, I kind of just wanted to talk about, or no, I'll save that for the end. Category two we'll get into is just the complete lack of, democracy. I hate to word it like that, but there's a complete lack of like care for what the students need in the moment. I feel like is a good way to put it. And what I wanted to talk about with this is last semester, like end of fall 25 semester, a very, very well known teacher at my college was fired. Not fired. He was like forced into. It was weird. He was like forced into retirement. Fucking weird situation all around. And I'm not gonna go too hard into the specifics of that. He wasn't a perfect teacher, but he also wasn't bad, and he ran the band program. He ran a damn good program with a lot of really, really good musicians, really, really good people. And he wasn't perfect as an individual. He did a lot of shit that pissed the administration off. He did a lot of just weird back alley shit that's like makes you look at people different. I'm not going to go into that too much more or anymore, but he ended up getting fired. And because he was the leader of one of the biggest programs on campus, it was a big deal. It's still a big deal. Everything in the last semester with band and with the music department in general is kind of centered on his absence. It's been a big thing. Fucking vile. But with his being gone, there was a massive public outcry from a pretty big chunk of the band, about 100 people. The band is about 300 people. I would say of that, about 100 people posted on Facebook, did like in-person fucking walkouts and shit, and sit-ins and shit. And it's like, I mean, complete freedom and right to do that. I'm not disagreeing with that. I think it's good. I think it's good that people do that because it shows that people fucking care and that they need to be, that the people doing the hiring process, all this shit, they need to fucking watch their ass and be careful. They can't just, when we're talking about all of our scholarships and shit are at stake, it was a very clear indicator of like, hey, do not fuck this up, or I'm sorry, I should clarify. It was a very clear indicator of like, if you fuck this up, there will be hell to pay from hundreds of students. And it was awesome. And because of that, at one point there was a very public thing of like, hey guys, at this meeting we are going to walk out. And that was the big thing. And it was like a big grassroots thing where a bunch of the students were talking about it. It was like spread throughout group chats and shit. And that was how I learned about it. One of the band group chats I was in, it was like, hey everyone, we're going to be doing this at this date, at this time. This is completely optional. You have the right to do this as a student. And, it was, I'm not going to lie, it was a beautiful moment because even though I slightly disagreed with the premise, it was just a beautiful moment of like student collaboration, and it was interesting because it was watching a grassroots movement in real time. And it was a cool moment, but fucking ear itchy. But anyways, what was I getting at? It eventually got to a point where the whole movement of it, there was enough social momentum. There was a big petition with like a couple thousand fucking people signed. It was fucking huge. And I say huge because this is a program that affects like a couple hundred people. We had like thousands of people. Local news was filming this shit. It was fucking massive. And it eventually got to a point where like our college's Title IX director, and he's also like the code of conduct student director and everything. It got to a point where like he came in, another person, I can't remember what her job was. Like they came in and had like an hour presentation to all 300 band students. And they were just like, hey everyone, here's what you have the rights to do and not do as a student. And it came off in a manner where it was like, if you do anything at all, we will get you, you know? It was the thing that a lot of modern conservatives bitch about and use as a kind of gotcha for social movements like BLM and that type of thing. It's like the gotcha they use of like, oh well, why didn't they just peaceful protest? And it's like, yeah, that's how fucking social work gets accomplished in this fucking country is by sitting quietly outside of City Hall with a fucking sign and a notebook. You know, that's how fucking work gets done in the world. Ugh. I hate to be a jaded little fuck, but it's like, you know, they said a lot of shit that was just like, ooh, you know, and it was a very scary moment because all of the hiring shit was completely behind closed doors for a time. It's not anymore. Everything is more out in the open now. And I sincerely believe everything would have been behind closed doors were it not for the huge fucking outcry from the student body. It was a fucking weird time because it's been going on for, I'd say, about 2, 3 months, something like that. All the shit started kind of end of December to start of January. So, yeah, about 2.5 months of just pure fucking outcry from the student body. And the big thing that kind of pissed people off was we all get scholarships. All the band students get money from this. And, or at least that was a big thing that got to me was the teacher being fired. You know, it sucks. It's, you know, the dude had a massive career where he did a lot of good for the college, and I personally didn't care for the guy, but he did. You can't argue with the results. He has built a massive program at this fucking school, and he's created a lot of the reasons that I came here, you know, for the high scholarship on average compared to other college bands, the decent society, I say society, the decent culture of like a lot of music people are going to be here, you know. He created that shit, and it was just uh him being let go in the way that he was. It was fucking weird, and it was kind of dirty. Not kind of. It was just dirty. It was fucking weird. But with him being gone, the hiring process for whoever the new fucking guy is going to be, it was like for the first like month ish of him being gone, so like pretty much all of January, everything was behind closed doors. Literally every single fucking thing. If you would ask an administrator, if you would ask a private lessons teacher who's like part of the department and shit, everyone you would fucking ask, it would be like, yeah, we'll talk about things to an extent and we'll say like, oh, you can trust us, but they would never give like a concrete enough answer to make things okay, you know? And I remember at one point in private lessons for tuba, I was talking to the teacher, and you know, I told him straight up, like, it's pretty fucked up how much all of this is behind closed doors. And he was like, yeah, I could see it. But the main thing we were talking about at the time was specifically the the forced retirement of the teacher. I'm going to refer to it as firing because that's what it is. You know, he gets the retirement payments and everything, but it's like, you know, he didn't want to be done. And getting forced out of a job, that's what firing is. And but you know, he like that was the big issue of the time, and there was a lot of personal stakes tied into it because a lot of people I know were really emotionally invested into the shit, and a lot of people were really fucking mad is the main thing. A lot of people were really fucking angry, and I ended up in one of my tuba lessons. He was like, because he's a chill guy, he was just like, is there anything anyone wants to... He's like, yeah, I've been asking everybody because we're all going to be affected by this. Is there anything you want to talk about with this shit? And we had like a chill conversation, like 10-20 minutes about just like, hey, it's kind of fucked up that everything's behind closed doors and nothing is really clear. And he said the one thing that I was like, oh, okay, I could see it, was he said, implied that like he said that like there was a lot they couldn't outright say because of the law, and I he couldn't get into much more detail than that. According to him, it was like legally they could not say much more than what they had, and it just became clear that like I don't know. It almost served as a function of that bureaucratic bloat, or not bureaucratic bloat. I mean that too, but like it's interesting seeing the way this like fucking faux privatized shit with college has like like seeing the way the government kind of and or I mean the state law and federal law and all that kind of like came in to protect it, because when a lot of the students outcried like, hey, what the fuck is happening, and they responded like, sorry, can't say, it was just it was a fucking scary moment, because a lot of people, all 300 people in band, all of our fucking scholarships, everything was up in the air for a time, and we got through it. Now they're doing the hiring process for the new guy, and it's becoming increasingly clear like we're through the worst of it. But it was a scary moment, and it kind of showed that end of the day, the college, they don't have your back, they have their own back, and they are kind of serving their own interests in that way, where the moment that all of that shit was happening, like those few weeks where everything was going on, it was just it was a fucking haze, and it almost served like an information blackout where, oh well, I heard this administrator say this thing, or I heard this guy to say this thing, and it just, to me, it just came off as a very, intentional or not, it's like, it was fucking convenient for them, that for the college, that like they didn't have to put out an explanation. It was pretty fucking convenient that they got to effectively stick in the shadows and do whatever the hell they wanted for a while. It was a scary moment too, because it became, that was, for me, that was one of the first big moments where it became clear, not just on the work life level, but on the degree level of like the way that they can fuck you, and the ways that they specifically set out to fuck you, because it became clear that like the machine, the well-oiled machine that is college, it stopped working for a bit. It was just clear that like everything was breaking down, and it was sadly very fucking clear that the first things to go were the administration, to go through a fucking dying out like that, where it just seemed like everything kind of came to a stop for a while. Like it just became clear that the students were kind of the first thing that was going to be fucking, oh, we need to make weight for the fucking aircraft. Oh, okay, just shove the whole student body out the fucking plane. That'll lighten the load. Don't you know what I mean? It's like it just became clear that like in event of big things like that, big media blackouts that could cause actual damage to the college, and could cause like any real form of protest or change, it just became like aggressively fucking clear that they were protecting their own self-interest at all costs, and not the students. And it was just another kind of example of just like a vile callousness, where it's like, the student should come first in all cases, but that was another example of a time where they just clearly didn't. And we're lucky that things are as good as they are now, but it's like it's weird. There's this weird kind of backhanded feeling I've had with college for a while now, where it's like, I mentioned it a bit earlier, where it's like, we're paying, end of the day, we're doing all this shit because it is a good deal. If you can get through it, you're going to make more money. You're going to live a better life than the people around you. It's unfortunately the truth that, oh yeah, if you can wade through this shit with the right amount of luck, then you'll get through with a pretty cool life on the other end. But I mean, you'll get a good education, you'll get your whatever, you'll do good. But it's like, I'm trying to figure out how to word it. It's such a backhanded system where you get the good shit. You get the education. You get the higher quality of life. You get the more intelligent, well-educated member of the society. You get all that shit. But also, a lot of people are getting fucked along the way. Like, a lot of people are losing jobs. A lot of people are losing money in college. A lot of people are coming out of college with no real benefit. A lot of people are getting fucked up by this shit. And with the actual callousness just shown by the administration just consistently in like all matters, it, it's fucking sick because it's almost like, I'm trying to think of like a way to put it. There's really no analog I can think of, but it's such a sick fucking system because you go through this shit and you go through the good, you get the education, you become a better member of society, get the better job, get the better pay, get the whatever. You do the good, and with it you have to wade through such a fucking mountain of just bullshit. And I mean, if we just look at like the statistic, it's like a 50-50 of you dropping out of college. That's pretty fucking bad. And I don't know, it's just so fucking vile to me that this system is so inherently built. It's built to like get you up in the world, up in society, and it feels like it's been kind of co-opted by this like pure capitalist profit driven thing, like profit driven, self-interested thing, where instead of being the social good that increases the lives of the students, that makes the lives better of the people around it, it becomes an almost drain. And I'm worried that with rising college costs over the next, they've risen a bunch. I was talking to my brother. He went to this same college that I'm at now. He went here back in 2009. That was when he graduated high school. Old fucker. He's a homie. But, and I graduated class of 23. And we were talking, and my tuition, my final bill was lower than his, but he didn't get any scholarships, any government aid at all, and his tuition was $6,000 a semester. Mine, if I were to get the equivalent, no federal aid, no any of that, it would be $10,000 to $12,000 a semester. And I'm worried that as time goes on and as the cost, they're gonna keep going up. They're gonna keep proportionally going up too, because wages are gonna keep getting higher, all that shit. But it's like, as everything goes on and as the people get more and more fucked up by this shit, I'm worried that we're eventually gonna hit a tipping point where it isn't worth it anymore. We're already at a point where nearly 50% drop out, and I believe in education. I believe it's important. I believe it's good. I believe it's good for the world. I believe it's good for all this shit. But it's been co-opted by this for-profit, self-interested shit. I think that's the ultimate problem with all this shit. This is a public institution. This isn't a private school for-profit thing. But they're still acting as a corporation. They're still acting as a like protect the shareholders, or in this case, in high level admins and whatnot. They're still acting in that corporate, self-interested, profit-driven manner that is just completely fucking up the individual side with the students. And this isn't a unique situation. The college I go to is pretty average in terms of damn near everything. Pretty average size, pretty average graduation, enrollment, all that shit. It's like pretty average. And I can't fucking imagine, like, if you go to a college that's like worse, oh my god, man, that shit can't be worthwhile. And I don't know. It just, to me, it just comes off as the social good that is education just being co-opted by profit. And just education isn't a social thing anymore. Or like a societal thing anymore. It's a profit thing, and it's it's vile. It's fucking sick. And this is probably significantly worse in my state. It's probably significantly worse in all the more poorly educated states. Let me Google. I believe Massachusetts is number one in the U.S. in terms of education statistics. And yeah, let's see. Really? I thought Massachusetts had number one. Where? Not spending. Trying to find it. Massachusetts college statistics. Maybe that'll work. All right, 60% of people in Massachusetts go to college. Okay, it's down now, but we look at like the past 10 years and it's like a 70% of the state goes to college. And it's like, no wonder this state statistically is like, you know, and it's also Ivy Leagues and that whole New England area and shit. So like, no shit, they're going to have higher enrollment. But it's like, okay, here we go. This seems like a... I'm trying to find a graph that shows what the fuck I'm trying to say. Is this it? This is Canadian statistics. Why the fuck is that what I Googled? Or why the fuck is that what popped up when I Googled Massachusetts college statistics? Why the fuck is Canada showing up? Good God, Google is fucking miserable to use. Okay, I can't find anything online on immediate search. Oh, maybe. Nope. Okay, fuck you. Google's just been a fucking pain to use for the last like decade. But basically what I'm trying to get at is states like that, like the New England states, Massachusetts, you know, all Massachusetts is the main example just because it's one of the highest educated states in the country. But like all of these states that have like better education, statistically more advantageous education to get, like all this shit, it's like, you know, they're probably more of a social good. They're probably less bullshit like this, less profit driven than colleges here. And I'm a little bit worried that as costs go up everywhere across the board, it's going to skew more and more in that profit driven bullshit direction. You know, I'm sure you could map out exactly like, college degrees in this state are worth this amount while providing this little value, but while cost this much. It's like, you know, I'm sure you can map it out and do whatever the hell, but it's like, this shit's a fucking nightmare, man. It's a fucking pain in the ass. It's fucking a lot of people, and it's a weirdly unique American problem where, you know, you can. I personally don't believe in capitalism. I don't think it's gonna help us or save us or whatever. But you can argue about that shit for fucking ever. But like, you can't argue with the results that like it just isn't good for the school system. It's just fucking over the school system. And I mean, and by that I mean like the college education system is just fucked over by it. And you know, I'm not saying anything revolutionary in this video. I'm just trying to put my own 2 cents on it. But like, it's just a weird, sickly, fucking callous greed that I feel like I've seen my own college display for the last while. And when I know I've also been using big, broad terms like administrator, faculty, college, you know, things like that, instead of pointing to specifically the president of the college. But I feel like that's also part of it is, you know, with that corporate bullshit that has kind of wormed its way into this, I feel like it's losing its face. You're not getting fired by the boss anymore. You're getting fired by HR. You're getting fired by Amazon. You're getting instead of like, I feel like it's I'm not going to go on a full fucking diatribe about it, but it's like you could get into it and be like, it's probably by design that like these things are kind of faceless. And you know, most corporations have like their billionaire fucking head of the company and whatnot, but it's like end of the day, when you're living through this shit, it's very faceless. It's very back alley creepy bullshit going wrong and fucking your life. And it's just fucking sick to see it in action. There you go. But yeah, that's about an hour of recording. That's kind of all I had, as if that wasn't an hour of fucking ranting. To think all that was over $15. Oh my god. But yeah, no. I don't. I mean, I guess I could put a moral of like maybe college should be a societal thing and not a private thing. But I mean, in a country like the U.S. where even this public institution is being fucking driven like a private corporation, yeah, I could put whatever, the proletariat must rise and conquer the U.S. and fix this and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, end of the day, I'm a normal fucking motherfucker. I am a normal fucking jit trying to work my way through life and get a good degree, get the job in life I want and all that. It's fucked. Ugh, God. But yeah, that's all I got. It's 3:45 a.m. I think I might go back to bed, but like I have a doctor's appointment at 3:15. Yeah, my phone's plugged up, so. Yeah. But I have a doctor's appointment in like 10, 12 hours, something like that. So might just stay up and work on my fucking schoolwork shit. I was also gonna do. Oh, my fucking eye feels weird. I was also gonna do like a whole segment talking about how like the weird fucked up labor that is going through and busting your ass for college, but you can pick your own course load, so that's I can't really bitch about that too much without being a little hypocritical. And it's also kind of hypocritical to come on here as someone who's mostly had my way paid. I mean, my grandmother covered my first semester's tuition. The government has paid a fucking massive chunk of my tuition, like probably 2/3 of it. Scholarships has paid a massive chunk of it. Like, I am getting fucked less than the vast majority of people in college, and I'm still this fucking outraged about it. If I was like, oh my god, if I had to cover like the full cost, I would be fucking kicking and screaming and bitching and moaning, and there would be 50 of this video every day. Yeah, but that's all I got. It's just a fucked up thing all around, huh? Yeah, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Bye.